What do you think about this day?
It was hot. So we're out here this morning getting our asparagus bed cleaned up. The weeds have gotten pretty bad in here and we need to bury the asparagus deeper. We were touring the farm this morning. And what did you see?
I saw a lot of weed.
So one of the things we've been very bad about since we've started 3 years ago is the things that we're putting in the ground that are perennial.
Yeah.
Under the plastic we get a lot of little tiny garter snakes. Hi buddy, where you going? Don't come over by me only because I might step on you. Oh, well don't. He lunged at me, don't do that. Ding, 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 ding.
Hi, how much gas do you need?
Fill her up, sir.
That's it? Full service, sir?
Full service.
Okay.
Top her off. Can you wash my windshield?
Yep.
Jose and I are officially out of the summer planting mode. We are now into maintenance mode.
Yep.
Which means weeding, a lot of it, and planting our succession crops and harvesting.
Too many things, huh?
I know, we went from super busy to just busy.
Yeah.
So, well, that's a good thing. We now can breathe a little bit, and especially with Betsy helping, it's, you know, she's working about 12 hours a week, and that is taking a lot of pressure off of us.
It's so helpful.
Yeah, it's very helpful. So right now what we're doing is the grass is getting close to going to seed.
And we need grass.
We want to mulch with grass, so we're trying to get as much mowing done as we can. So this week we have to do the mowing. We have to do some of our succession planting and just a little bit more summer planting. I think we need to plant the sweet potatoes.
Yep.
Is the only thing left really. But then we have a lot of succession planting to do, so we're going to do that tomorrow. And then Thursday, the whole day is weeding and doing things to help keep the weeds down. So we have mulch here on site. We are going to mulch around some of the beds and we are going to weed in some of the beds. Because we want to try and stay on top of it this year, because this year has been easier than last year.
Yeah.
But part of that is because it has been hot and dry, so the weeds haven't had any water. And because we use drip irrigation, they don't really have any access to water except for near the drip irrigation. So it's working out really good for us.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm going to spend the day mowing. The problem is this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Mowing this and getting it onto the bed. So we've been using the trailer. You've already seen that in some videos. We're going to continue to do that. And then we're not going to dump it on the ground though, because once it hits the ground, it's too hard to get it back up and out on the beds.
Yeah. What do you think about this day?
It was hot. We got some stuff done, like we mulched a lot of beds, but I don't feel like we got as much done as we probably could have. You did some irrigation.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard to work on these hot days. And we worked all day, but
No, I think nobody like work outside.
no, not in this heat. But
No,
yeah,
heat.
I just finished doing a bunch of the weeding in here.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
Yeah, this area is just weeding so nice. So we're out here this morning getting our asparagus bed cleaned up. The weeds have gotten pretty bad in here and we need to bury the asparagus deeper. It's still only about 2 inches deep and we're expecting rain here in the next, hopefully by the end of the day and hopefully all day tomorrow. So I want to get as much of this done as we can before the rain comes, which may not be very much. I already got this first row done over here, so I'm moving on to this row. So I'm just bringing the dirt level up about 4 inches in each of these beds where the asparagus is at, because we initially put them in a trench. I can put that video up if you're curious about how we planted our asparagus. And then cleaning up the weeds. That end, because that was pasture, is very grassy. This end just has a little bit of weeds, so this side is a lot easier, but the last 25 feet is a lot of work. Today is the
Tuesday.
The 26th.
7.
The 27th. It's going so fast.
Yeah.
So we are just coming out of what I consider on the farm our busiest stretch, the beginning of June, last week of May, first few weeks of June.
Mm-hmm.
This year it's a little bit later than it normally is because we have had strange weather.
Yeah. Sometimes it's too hot, sometimes it's too cold.
Yeah, it's been very dry. I think since the beginning of May, we've only had about 2 little stretches of rain.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's been in the 80s and dry.
Yeah, and sunny, no cloud.
Which is so weird for the UP. Usually we have a lot of clouds up here. So we are just getting back into a good rhythm where I feel like we're taking some time off. We're, you know, relaxing and taking time for ourselves.
Yep.
I feel rejuvenated. And so hopefully we'll get back into 2 videos a week, which is where we want to be, ideally, showing you guys what we're doing, you know, over the previous couple of days. So today, you know, we have almost all of our seasonal crops in the ground.
Yep.
We still have to do the winter cabbages and a few, like some seasonal, like winter carrots, but all of it is now mostly succession. So our salad mixes and lettuces, you know, succession broccoli. But now we have a little bit of time. We need to get a couple of projects done that should have been done weeks ago, and that is planting the grapes and planting the raspberries.
Yeah, it's a little late, I think. Or
Yeah,
maybe
they've
not.
been in the basement for a long time. At least maybe even 2 months since the beginning of May, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad. So they need to go in the ground. The raspberries are definitely overgrown in their bags in the basement, so they need to go in. We're definitely going to see some dieback there and have a little bit of issues. But we were touring the farm this morning, and what did you see?
I saw a lot of wheat.
There are a lot of weeds, yes. And that is one of the main things we do this time of year, is weeding. We move from planting to weeding, and it almost seems like on a schedule. The weeds go from barely growing to we come out and it's like, what happened overnight?
I don't know.
Yeah, it gets crazy. But the good news is the weeds do that, but also our plants get crazy this time of year.
Yeah.
It's like the heat and light are perfect and things just take off. Our tomato plants in some areas are almost as tall as I am. They're like here, which is incredible. And the fruit product, I'm going to tell you what, this mulching with grass,
it's a good deal.
I think so. These are the best cucumbers we've ever seen.
Yeah.
These are the best tomatoes we've ever seen. I just am really happy with some of the things that are happening. I think we made a lot of mistakes this spring because we still don't understand how bad the weather could be.
Yeah.
Like our first round of beets, scrapped. Our first round of radishes, our first 2 rounds of radishes, scrapped.
Yeah.
So we wasted 100-foot bed space on crops that we need to learn how to do better in the spring.
Yeah. In the hot spring.
Yeah, well, in the cold and in the hot, we need to learn how to take care of them better.
Yeah, because it was like the day before it was hot, and then
yeah, and then we would get a frost actually. So it's very hard to manage. But what we do know is other farms are doing it well.
Yeah.
And so we know there's a learning curve for us. It's a matter of figuring out how to do it and do it effectively. That's what we're working towards. So today we're going to work on getting these few things in the ground, and then we're going to work on some weeding and bed maintenance. So one of the things we want to be doing is like just kind of rotating beds and keeping the weeds at bay, keeping it mowed around those beds, because I think in the past it gets so out of control that we can't manage it. But I feel like this year, with having some help on the farm, we're much better in control. But we did come out this morning and we got some rain. It's like, where did all these weeds come from? So we're gonna start just going from, 100, each plot and focusing on that plot, getting the weeds cut back.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be, this time of year now, we'll just be kind of rotating and doing as needed around the farm. And that'll be probably 2 days a week is focused on weeding and keeping the beds clean. We focus 1 day a week on planting, whatever the succession planting is. So we'll do that probably tomorrow here on the farm, get everything that needs to be planted for the week. And then the other days are harvesting and market days.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of free time as far as, you know, there's not a specific something to do every day. All right, so let's get these grapes and raspberries in the ground before they're no longer viable.
We should be good raspberries in the basement.
Oh, we might be growing raspberries in the basement. It's a little dark and cold, but we need to get that done. All right, let's do it. So one of the things we've been very bad about since we've started 3 years ago is the things that we're putting in the ground that are perennial.
Yeah.
We put a lot in the ground, but we have not focused on them or taken care of them because we've been so busy on the vegetables that we haven't, you know, it's more about putting out fires on what we're making money at right now than it is, you know, taking the time to properly take care of everything we're putting in the ground.
Yeah.
So our grapes from last year, we only have a few survivors that we can see, which is disappointing. And so this year, the ones we're putting in the ground have been in the basement and they're not looking real good.
Hopefully they...
So we're gonna put them in the ground and try to take better care of them and see what happens. If not, I think next spring is gonna be a grape focusing season for us. I think we'll order a bunch of grapes, get them in the ground appropriately, and then really focus on making sure they're taken care of and trellised properly and watered properly. I think we may have saved some more this spring had we been out here watering, but we did not water. We've just been so busy and they're not irrigated, which maybe at some point we'll be able to run an irrigation line out here. So yeah, we just have a lot of work to do. We admit that we have, you know, strong areas and we have weak areas. And this has been one of them. So right now we're going to put these grapes in the ground and hopefully they are just still dormant because there's no growth, but we'll see what happens. All right, so all of the grapes are in the ground. Jose is now putting up the trellis, which is just T-posts, 8 foot, well, they're 8 foot long, but they'll be about 6 foot above the ground.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work, huh?
It is. I thought it would be more easy, but no.
Yeah, yes, it's very rough. So we are setting about 53 of them in here because we have 60 plants. And one between each set of plants. So he's finishing that. I'm probably going to go get the raspberries. Oh, I need to get the posts for the last row.
Yeah, we finished this little project and now it's time to do another one. It's a beautiful day. What time it is? What time is it? Almost 3. Almost 3 or 3. All right, let's do the next project.
Okay, so we're out here doing the raspberries now. We plant our raspberries every 2 feet and we're doing 4 different varieties, 2 red varieties, Anne, which is a gold variety, and then I think it's called Jewel, maybe? Black Jewel? I don't know, but it's a black raspberry. What Jose's doing right now is just running the power harrow over just to kill the surface weeds because we tilled this quite a while ago and just let it sit. So he's just trying to cut down the surface weeds so they're not as bad when we do this, and then we'll mulch them once they're planted. Okay, so the black raspberries come as these little plugs. Please don't judge my overgrown raspberries. So they come as these little plugs. They're pretty easy to put in the ground. The rest of the raspberries all come bare root. They take a little more work. So I'm going to get these done while Jose is starting on the holes. Again, we just bury these every 2 feet. Okay, so 2 rows of raspberries are now in the beds right over here. That's 100 raspberry plants. I think we did 25 Ann, 25 black raspberries, and then 50 red raspberries. Now we're going to finish this project that we started on Sunday, I believe. This is our asparagus bed. So we need to bury the asparagus deeper. It's pretty tall right now, and we haven't yet had a chance to fill in the trenches. So that's what we're doing. Jose's going to finish getting these weeds out of these beds, and I'm going to finish pulling the soil into the trenches.
Wednesday,
The 28th?
Yep.
June is almost over.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so today we are working these beds behind us. So we've had this plastic on it for 2 weeks, you think?
Yep.
And so today we need to get in the ground. We're trying our salad mix and our lettuces in the paper pot for the first time. We need to get those in the ground. So we're prepping 2 beds for that. We're gonna put in our winter or storage cabbages. Those are going in here. We also need to plant a carrot, row of carrots, and we need to plant just our regular seasonal spinach today and a broccoli. So we have a lot of things we need to get in the ground. So we have, I think, we have like 3 regular beds and 1 strange bed, like really big beds. So we may do the lettuces all in there mixed up. And then we've got 1 bed over here that we can do. And then we have 1 bed where the spinach was that is, you know, bolted. So it's going to get tilled under and reworked. So that's what we got going on today.
Yeah.
So the thing we're going to start with is we've been wanting now to go around and start cleaning up and getting weeds under control, because that's what happens this time of year. So it's a little crazy in this area, but what we're doing is the water lines run on these front ends of the bed. So I'm gonna mow, and we're just putting thick grass on the ends of these to keep the weeds down where the water lines are. It'll make life a lot easier, and Jose, so we don't run it over with the mower and stuff, it just keeps the weeds down. So I'm gonna go around and weed and get that, or mow and get these covered. Jose's gonna do some weed eating because we need to do that. We have a huge problem with burdock right in this area. Let's turn the camera around and show.
I don't know, like a part of life or...
Yeah, so these huge leaves right here are all burdock. And it's a perennial weed, which just has a huge taproot, and when you pull on the leaves they just pull right off, so it's nearly impossible to pull out of the ground, and it's growing all over in this area. So we are this winter we're going to plastic this to try to get rid of it completely, because it's really annoying, and it's all over in here. So these beds right here right now are our broccoli beds. So we have 2 broccoli beds, and in the middle are peas and radishes. So I'm going to come through and get these cleaned up today because we want to start weeding, and then we're going to focus on planting. We have dinner plans tonight, so we have to be off farm by about 4 o'clock. So yeah, so I don't know how much we'll get done today as far as the planting goes, but we'll at least get these beds prepped and ready. It's possibly going to rain overnight tonight, so anything we have to plant with the transplanter or the seeder probably needs to be done today before we get any rain, because it's harder to do that stuff when the ground is wet. Yeah. So that we'll probably try to get done today, but any of the soil blocks we're planting, that can wait for a day or 2 if it needs to.
All right.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so I'm going to start with mowing, and Jose's going to start with some weed eating.
Yeah, let's go see
to get this cleaned up.
Let's see this first.
Okay. Yeah. Under the plastic we get a lot of little tiny garter snakes. Hi buddy, where you going? Don't come over by me only because I might step on you. Oh, well, don't. He lunged at me. Don't do that. We're going to dinner tonight with my parents and Uncle Harry and Ruth. So we are done for the day. We didn't get much done today.
No.
Surprisingly, one of the most time-consuming things that we do on the farm, and I use the term we loosely because it's mostly this guy here, is turning the beds and getting the beds prepped for planting.
Yeah.
It's very time-consuming. It's definitely easier if we've had them covered in plastic. But Jose, you know, runs a tractor over at one time with the power harrow, and then he rakes out the grass because right now we have so much grass in the beds that it makes life very difficult. So I always, every time I do a planting day, I forget how much time bed prep takes.
Yeah, well, and this one it take a lot.
Yeah, so I would say we're about halfway, and so tomorrow morning we will finish and then get the planting done tomorrow. It shouldn't, I say it shouldn't take very long, but it is taking way longer than it should. But we're getting a lot of stuff done. I got this bed of broccoli weeded and taken care of, cleaned up that so it looks really good.
You have broccoli there? Huh?
Yeah, that's, the broccoli was hiding behind the burdock. Yeah, so I mean things are good. It was just very time consuming. So we'll get everything planted in the ground tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then in the future weeks I will remember how long it takes to turn over beds.
Well, it's easy when it's no grass in it.
Yeah, it's definitely the grass. So that's why, you know, we don't want to be using plastic long term here on the farm, but for short term, to get rid of this grass, we almost don't have a choice. The amount of work it takes for us to keep the grass down. You know, the annual weeds are a pain in the butt, but they are very easy when you get them small to take care of. But the perennial weeds and the grass, we really need to cover the beds and get those taken care of to make life easier. It's definitely easier this year than last year, but you know, we need to be taking care of these.
Yeah, every year we're getting better. Yeah,
we are. We're more efficient. We know what we're doing. We're quicker. Yeah. And so I'd say, you know, compared to last year, we're doing good. All right, well, we're gonna head to dinner. Probably have a beer.
Probably.
Yeah. See my parents, see Uncle Harry. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.